Hi, I'm Alex Caroline Raboy. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm the founder of the Center for Growth. My goal in creating today's video, Loving a Narcissist, is to help you better understand what the negative impacts might be for you for loving someone with narcissism, and why you might have actually not even realized the extent of the negative impacts it's having on you. Loving someone with narcissism, be it your parent, romantic partner, or even a friend, is a really unique experience and can leave us feeling confused, overwhelmed, and sometimes deeply hurt. Narcissism can be extremely difficult to identify, so it's no surprise that the negative impact can often go unnoticed for very long amounts of time, sometimes even 30 years. In fact, it is this very insidiousness that makes the behaviors even more harmful and difficult to spot. The negative impact can be emotional, financial, sexual, physical, and everything in between. So, how do you identify if you're loving someone with narcissism? The easiest pattern to spot is love bombing. It's one that everybody talks about. And it's also one that is most overlooked because it just feels so good. What's love bombing? Love bombing refers to an excessive and sometimes inappropriate show of attention and admiration in the early or reparative stages of a relationship. This can look like the narcissist giving you an abnormal amount of positive attention in the form of lavish gifts, special emotional mementos, surprise trips, or special dates. The generosity goes beyond just you and extends to your family and friends. Why is it so confusing? What's wrong with gift giving? How could a generous expression of love and sacrifice be bad? Love bombing is often the narcissist's first attempt at using resources to gain control of the relationship. By using all of their resources to impress and persuade, the narcissist gets the upper hand quickly and often will not let you forget it. It's not uncommon for narcissists to reference these gestures during fights to make you believe they're being unappreciative or ungrateful. All relationships have some form of gift giving, but with a narcissist, it's often taken to an unbalanced extreme. The second strategy is people pleasing. Narcissists are ever charming and captivating. They have exciting stories or big events in their life that need your attention. They take up a lot of space in the room. Because the narcissist knows how good it feels to have the spotlight, they often know how to give the right amount of attention to get what they want. This is an emotional manipulation at its core and can tie back to love bombing and other patterns of inappropriate attention and admiration. Why it's confusing. It can feel good to be a support for a loved one going through a struggle or needing your advice. The problem is, narcissists are great at taking advantage of others' kindness and eventually get used to hogging the conversation. Extended exposure to this can lead you to minimize and hide your own needs and emotional expression. It's easy to lose sight of self worth and the importance when the conversation is always on someone else. The third sign is gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of emotional manipulation where the narcissist attempts to change the narrative and redirect the blame back to you. When under fire, the narcissist often cannot accept that they're in the wrong and will take control of the situation the best way they know how. Deflect, 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 and deflect again. It's an emotional reverse card that is extremely insidious. Why it's confusing. Gaslighting can feel like you're losing your mind. It can cause you to question your judgment and moral character. In our society, we're taught that being a healthy partner means taking accountability for our natural actions. So it's natural to question one's position in a disagreement. What's not normal is when someone repeatedly casts blame back on you during every single argument, making a consistent pattern. When a narcissist does a really good job of gaslighting, you may even find all of your closest friends and family members siding with the narcissist. Remember, narcissists are very convincing people. A really important sign to help you recognize that you're with a narcissist is isolation. I think it's probably the most telling. Ask yourself the following question. Since you met the person, Have you become more isolated? In the movies, isolation might look like preventing you from making new friends or spending time with family, especially if they have a negative opinion or history of the conflict with the narcissist. In real life, an early stage of isolation may simply be that this person helps you start to feel too busy for people. Sometimes a person may take on a more active form by verbally discouraging you from participating in social groups or hobbies that bring you joy outside of the relationship. Some extreme forms of isolation can include them controlling where you work, when you can use your phone, and when you can leave the home. A really good way to recognize isolation as a symptom is look around at your own life. If you've been in a long term relationship with this person, years or later, ask yourself the following question: do you have more or less friends than you used to? Why is this concept so confusing? Isolation with a narcissist often begins in a very subtle and innocent way, making it very hard to detect until it's too late. Sometimes the narcissist will express that they just love you so much that they want to be with you all of the time. Or they might be encouraging you to get busy enough with other things so that you stop valuing your friends and family. Other times, the narcissist might talk about how they feel jealous of you spending so much time away from them. The bottom line is that oftentimes can feel so great to be desired by a partner, but too much of a good thing has harmful consequences and quickly becomes a narcissist's mechanism of power and control. You know you're in trouble when you start to be the target of their demeaning language. Demeaning language is a form of verbal abuse. You'll know when you get to this stage because it just gets nasty. Fights get really heated. No one wants to be around the two of you when it's happening. When the narcissist isn't name calling and just uses more subtle, negative, demeaning language, it can be a lot more confusing. So, why is demeaning language so confusing? This one may seem clearly harmful, but the hurtful comments that a narcissist makes often are disguised as constructive criticism. And we all know that constructive criticism can be easy to write off as well intentioned. What the narcissist may feel as helpful advice may actually be quite harsh and damaging. The narcissist's constant comments and critique can chip away at one's self esteem, making you more dependent upon them for approval, thus making you very vulnerable to emotional harm. The sixth sign is withholding affection. People who are narcissists may withhold money, affection, or even communication in an attempt to manipulate or punish you in response to an action they don't like. The silent treatment is a common form of withholding and often leaves you feeling like you need to walk on eggshells. The silent treatment can send you the message that love is conditional, or at least on the narcissist rulebook, which might be ever changing. Why is the silent treatment so confusing? We all have bad days, and withholding affection can sometimes seem like the narcissist is just in a bad mood or needs some alone time after a conflict. When the silence becomes the actual problem, it's because the silence is a consistent response to conflict, and they're not able to notice or acknowledge this pattern. Over time, this behavior can reinforce the message that love, kindness, appreciation, and respect are all qualities that are conditional and that you must be without flaws to be worthy of good treatment. The seventh sign that you are with a narcissist is that they're ignoring boundaries. Boundaries can be emotional or physical. An easy physical boundary to spot takes the form of digital privacy invasion, which might mean the narcissist might look through their partner's phone, email, or track their partner's location via apps. Ignoring boundaries can also take the form of possessiveness and intense need to protect them to the point of stalking or harassment. Why is boundary crossing so confusing? At first, it seems that this behavior can easily be looked at or viewed as innocent, as if the narcissist wants to protect their loved ones from harm. The narcissist may also say it comes from their own experience, having their trust broken in the past and not wanting to have their heart broken. When the narcissist is not able to see what impact this imposition is having on their partner, that's when it becomes a problem. In many ways, this behavior shares similarities with gaslighting and playing the victim. The eighth sign that the person you know is a narcissist is their inability to tolerate criticism. Although narcissists may appear confident on the outside, they often have a very fragile sense of self-esteem. A covert narcissist may have an especially hard time receiving any kind of negative leaning feedback and may react with extreme emotional sensitivity when a friend or loved one tries to discuss emotions. This can limit the amount of healthy communication that you're able to have with the narcissist and can lead them to trying to redirect or direct their feelings, which can end up looking like gaslighting or other emotional manipulation techniques. Why it's confusing. Let's face it, most people do not enjoy receiving criticism, even if it's constructive and well meaning. A narcissistic person's inability to tolerate criticism becomes apparent when it occurs repeatedly in a way that is blocking the ability to hold healthy conversations where feelings can be expressed and communicated without fear of retaliation or a feeling of walking on eggshells. It's also possible that the narcissist may become verbally abusive or physically violent as retaliation for criticism, which is absolutely never okay. Next steps. So, if you're feeling like you may have unwittingly become close to someone who struggles with narcissism, or that you may have experienced narcissistic abuse and find yourself struggling to figure out a path forward, please note that you're not alone. Consider reaching out to us at the Center for Growth because we specialize in personality disorders and can help you identify if the person in your life might have narcissistic traits and what that means for your own well-being.